All personnel, code extinction, containment breach in residential sectors 4 through 9. The Crix 9 specimens are loose. Evacuate immediately or you will die. Station Commander Zilax's primary manipulators trembled as he transmitted the words he'd prayed he'd never speak. Through the command center's hollow displays, thermal signatures painted the nightmare in real time. 23 Crix 9 apex predators moving through the Galactic Military Academy's dormitories like living shadows, each heat signature trailing the cooling bodies of cadets who'd had the misfortune of being in their path. 300 dead. 8 minutes. 70 different species reduced to metabolic waste. Sir, armed response teams 3 and 7 are... Junior Tactical Officer Vexia's voice cracked as 2 more signatures winked out on her display. They're gone. The creatures went through them. According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, Zilax felt his tertiary lung collapse, a physiological stress response his species evolved to survive atmospheric deprivation, but which now just made breathing harder as he watched the galaxy's most perfect killers do what they'd been doing for 40 million years, killing everything that moved. The Crix 9 specimens weren't supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to be anywhere near populated stations. They were extinction event organisms, kept in the most secure xenobiology facility in Council space specifically because they'd exterminated 42 civilizations before the quarantine wars finally contained them. Each creature was a masterwork of evolutionary horror, adaptive camouflage, hemorrhagic venom, sensory organs that detected fear hormones at parts per trillion, and a hunting intelligence that had been observed using tactical flanking maneuvers. Evacuation status, Zilax demanded. Sectors 1 through 3 clear. Sectors 10 through 15 clear. Vexia's antenna stalks were flat against her carapace, her species equivalent of a funeral posture. Sectors 4 through 9. Commander, we lost communication with everyone who didn't evacuate in the first 90 seconds. Show me the feeds. The hollow displays flickered to security camera views. Zilax immediately wished he hadn't asked. The residential corridor of Sector 5 looked like an abattoir. The predators moved with fluid grace between bodies, their sensor clusters swiveling as they tracked new prey through walls and floors. One paused over a Vorgelian cadet, a species known for playing dead as a survival mechanism. The predator's feeding appendage struck with surgical precision. The Vorgelian's heat signature faded. "Sir!" Vexia's voice pitched into registers that hurt Zilax's auditory membranes. "There's still a life sign in Sector 7. Moving. They're moving." "What species?" Vexia's manipulators flew across her interface. Cadet Emma Johnson, first year. Species, human. Origin world, Earth. The command center fell silent except for the ambient hum of failing life support systems in the quarantine sectors. "That's impossible," someone whispered. It was impossible. Zilax pulled up the Galactic Threat Database with hands that had forgotten how to remain steady. Crix 9 apex predators, 97% kill success rate upon first encounter, average survival time after detection, 14 seconds. Number of recorded survivors from direct predator contact, 0. "She's in their hunting ground," Vexia continued, her voice hollow. 7 predators between her position and the evacuation routes. "Commander, she hasn't responded to any emergency broadcasts. Should I send a recovery team?" "To recover what?" Zilax activated the Sector 7 feeds, expecting to watch another cadet die. "There won't be enough left to..." The image resolved, and every neural cluster in Zilax's body misfired simultaneously. The human was walking down the corridor. Not running, not hiding. Walking. She had a tablet in her hands, her face illuminated by its glow, and she was reading something. Her bio readings showed elevated focus, mild annoyance, but nothing resembling the fear hormone cascade that the predators use to track prey. "She doesn't know," Vexia breathed. She doesn't know they're there. But that wasn't the impossible part. The impossible part was visible on the thermal overlay. 6 Crix-9 predators had stopped their systematic slaughter pattern. They'd detected something. Their sensor clusters were all oriented in the same direction, toward the human. "They're hunting her," Zilax said, his voice distant even to his own auditory membranes. "They've changed course. All 6 are converging on her position." The predators moved with the patience of true apex killers, approaching from 3 different corridors, coordinating their ambush with the tactical sophistication that had ended entire planetary ecosystems. The human kept walking, occasionally swiping her tablet screen, completely oblivious to the fact that she had approximately 40 seconds to live. "Sir, orders?" Vexia asked. Zilax's primary mind calculated trajectories, response times, available assets. His secondary mind, the one responsible for survival instincts that evolution had carefully honed over 300 million years, was screaming at him to make a decision that would haunt him forever. "Prepare orbital strike package," he said quietly. "Authorization code Xilax Omega-7 extinction. Target, Sector 7, full saturation. We destroy the entire sector." "Sir, the human is already dead. She just doesn't know it yet." Zilax watched the predators close to within 10 meters of the human, their attack postures primed. "But we can prevent them from reaching Sector 8. We can save the 3,000 cadets still evacuating from other sectors. Charge the weapons." "Charging," Vexia confirmed, her voice breaking. "Orbital strike in 60 seconds." Zilax forced himself to watch the feeds. If he was going to kill a cadet, even one, already doomed, he owed her the dignity of witnessing her final moments. The human turned a corner, still reading her tablet. She muttered something the audio pickup barely caught. "Biochemistry is so stupid. Like, I'm a literature major. Why do I need to know cellular respiration?" 3 predators waited around that corner. 30 seconds to strike, Vexia whispered. The first predator lunged. Emma Johnson didn't look up from her tablet as the first Crix-9 predator launched itself at her throat with enough force to puncture combat armor. She stepped left, casual, minimal, the kind of movement someone makes to avoid a slower pedestrian, and her right hand came up holding something small. The predator sailed past her, and Emma's hand blurred downward in a precise arc. The pen in her grip punched through the creature's sensory cluster with a wet crunch. The apex predator, undefeated killer of civilizations, extinction event organism, perfect hunter, dropped dead before it hit the floor. Emma wrinkled her nose at the ichor on her pen. Gross. In the command center, Vexia made a sound like someone drowning in vacuum. "What?" Zilax started, then his language centers failed completely. "What? What? Abort strike!" Vexia shrieked, her manipulators flying across her console. "Aborting orbital strike authorization." "Sir, did we just—" "Replay that." Full speed, tactical overlay, bioanalysis. Zilax's secondary mind had gone completely offline. His primary mind was struggling to process input from his optical organs that directly contradicted everything he knew about physics, biology, and the fundamental nature of reality. The replay showed it in excruciating detail. Emma's sidestep began 0.3 seconds before the predator entered her visual range. Her pen strike targeted the only vulnerable point on the creature's anatomy, a cluster of neural ganglia located beneath overlapping armor plates that xenobiologists had needed 4 years and 17 dissections to discover. The strike itself took 0.08 seconds from initiation to fatal penetration. "Pull up her records," Zilax demanded. "Military background, combat training, she has to be special operations, deep cover, something." Vexia's display flickered. Cadet Emma Johnson. Age 19 standard. Major comparative literature. Minor ancient earth poetry. Combat aptitude assessment score 42 out of 100. Comments section. "Sir," she wrote, "seems kinda mean. Can't we just talk to people?" On the security feed, Emma was wiping predator blood off her tablet screen with the edge of her shirt, muttering about biochemistry homework. There has to be an error in... Two more predators emerged from side corridors simultaneously. The classic Crick's 9 pincer maneuver that had trapped and killed the elite Vorgelian honor guard during the quarantine wars. Emma sighed, actually sighed, and looked up from her tablet with the exasperated expression of someone interrupted during important work. "Oh, come on!" The first predator's strike limb shot forward, venom glands already priming. Emma caught it with her left hand, her fingers wrapping around the chitinous appendage like she was grabbing a subway pole. The predator's momentum stopped dead. All 700 kilograms of evolved murder halted instantly by a human who weighed maybe 60 kilos. She used that predator like a club, swinging it in a horizontal arc that intercepted the second predator mid-leap. Both creatures collided with a sound like a ground transport crash. Emma didn't pause, didn't hesitate. 2 precise pen strikes, 2 dead predators. "Can't even study in peace," she muttered, returning to her tablet like she'd just dealt with a minor inconvenience. Like she'd closed a window because of a draft. The command center had gone silent, not the silence of tactical focus or emergency response. The silence of sapient beings watching their understanding of the universe crumble in real time. "Those creatures," someone whispered, "ended the Vorgath Empire." "She killed them with a pen," someone else responded, while reading. Zilax's primary manipulators moved automatically, opening emergency channels. "Get me Fleet Command. Get me Xenobiology. Get me anyone who can explain what I'm watching." "Sir," Vexia interrupted, her voice thin. 3 more predators converging on her position from sectors 8 and 9. They're hunting her specifically now. Pack hunting protocol. On the feed, Emma had stopped walking. She noticed something on her shirt, predator ichor staining the fabric. She looked genuinely annoyed. "Ugh, this was clean this morning." She tapped her comm unit. "Hey, maintenance, if you guys get a chance, could someone come by Sector 7? My area's getting kinda messy. No rush, though." "No rush?" Vexia's voice cracked across 3 octaves. "There are 3 more..." The predators struck from 3 angles simultaneously: ceiling, floor panel, and wall. Perfect kill box, unescapable. The same maneuver they'd used to exterminate the Council's first contact team on Crick's 9 300 years ago. Emma set her tablet down on a bench with exaggerated care, the way someone handles something precious. Then she moved. Zilax's optical organs couldn't track it properly. His neural clusters processed the action in fragments. Emma's hand caught the ceiling predator by its sensory stalk, redirected it downward. Her foot came up, connected with the floor predator's attack, sent it tumbling into the wall predator. Her textbook, Introduction to Varelian Poetry, 9th edition hardcover, crashed down on the ceiling predator's cranial case, and the crack was audible through the audio feed. The pen again, twice. Clinical precision, 15 seconds. 3 dead apex predators. Emma picked up her tablet, brushed some chitin fragments off the screen. "Probabilistic analysis," Zilax ordered, his voice mechanical. "Combat. Efficiency comparison." Vexia's manipulators trembled over her console. Emma Johnson reaction time, 0.04 seconds. Crick's 9 predator reaction time, 0.13 seconds. "Sir, she's 340% faster than the fastest hunters ever recorded. That's physically impossible. Their neural architecture is optimized for speed. They're the fastest." "They were the fastest," Zilax corrected, watching Emma return to reading her tablet while standing in the middle of what was now a graveyard for 6 impossible kills. "Pull her medical files. Is she augmented, cybernetic, genetically modified?" "Medical eval from intake. Completely baseline human. No augmentation, no modifications. She had a cold last month. It says here they gave her tea with honey, and she felt better." On the security feed, Emma scratched her nose with the pen she'd just used to kill 6 extinction event organisms, leaving a small smear of ichor on her cheek. She went back to reading, lips moving slightly as she worked through what appeared to be complex biochemical formulas. Fleet Admiral Dirax's image flickered into existence on the command center's priority channel. Commander Zelax, I received your emergency code. What's the status of the Crix 9 breach? Zelax looked at the feeds, at the dead predators, at the human reading about cellular respiration while covered in the blood of the galaxy's most perfect killers. Sir, he said slowly, I don't know how to report this. Senior xenobiology specialist Talana materialized via emergency quantum transport directly into the command center, her prestigious research robes still smoking slightly from the hasty transit. She had 3 doctoral degrees, 40 years of predator behavior research, and had personally classified 17 extinction-level species. She watched the security feeds for exactly 8 seconds before her chromatic skin patches cycled through colors that indicated profound psychological distress. She's barely trying, Talana whispered. On screen, Emma had just killed her 11th Crix 9 predator. This one dispatched with what appeared to be a rolled-up sock she'd found on the floor, while simultaneously complaining into her comm unit. I know the homework's due tomorrow, but there's been this whole thing, and I still don't understand oxidative phosphorylation, and Professor Kairesh is definitely not giving extensions because he said so in the syllabus like 4 times. The predator's corpse hit the ground. Emma stepped over it without breaking stride or interrupting her sentence. Replay her movement patterns, Talana commanded, her scientific training overriding her existential horror. Kinetic analysis, full spectrum. Vexia compiled the data. The holodisplay lit up with trajectory arcs, velocity calculations, energy expenditure models. Talana's chromatic patches shifted to the deep purple of comprehension, the kind of comprehension that destroyed comfortable assumptions. Earth gravity, she said. Standard baseline, 1.0 g. Crix 9 gravity, 2.3 g. I don't understand the relevance, Zelax started. The predators evolved in high gravity. Their speed, their strike force, it's calibrated for 2.3 g resistance. Talana's manipulators danced across the calculations. The human evolved in 1.0 g. To her, station gravity feels like she's moving underwater feels to us. She's operating at less than half her homeworld's resistance. Every movement she makes is faster, stronger, more efficient than her neurology expects. But the predators should still... No. Talana pulled up comparative files. Watch. The predator's attack takes 0.13 seconds to execute, because that's optimal in 2.3 g. In station gravity, it takes 0.19 seconds. The human's reaction time, optimized for 1.0 g, executes in 0.04 seconds here. She's too fast. They can't track her properly. To her, they're moving in slow motion. Fleet Admiral Dirax leaned forward in his hollow projection. We classified Earth as dangerous. The preliminary survey marked humans as barely sentient pack hunters with primitive tool use. The preliminary survey, Talana interrupted with the kind of academic disdain that could wither careers, was conducted by researchers who never actually visited Earth's surface. They scanned from orbit, detected high predator diversity, and assumed humans were mid-tier scavengers. Establish contact with the human, Zelax ordered. Now. Vexia opened a direct channel. Cadet Johnson, this is Station Command. Can you hear me? Emma looked up from her tablet, glancing around the empty corridor. Oh, hey, yeah, I can hear you. Is this about the evacuation thing? Because I was studying and I guess I had my noise cancellation on. Cadet Johnson, Zelax interrupted, trying to keep his voice steady. Are you aware there are Crix 9 apex predators in your sector? The what now? Large, dangerous. Creatures. Zelax chose his words carefully. Highly lethal organisms from a Class 12 Deathworld. They've killed 300 cadets in the past 20 minutes. Emma blinked, then she started laughing, Genuine, confused laughter. Wait, these things? She gestured at the corpses scattered around her. These are supposed to be scary? They're like angry ferrets? Kinda cute, actually, in a murdery way. In the command center, Vexia's antenna stalks went completely rigid. Cute, she repeated faintly. She said, cute. As if summoned by cosmic irony, another predator dropped from a ceiling vent directly above Emma's head. Emma's hand shot up, casual, reflexive, and caught the creature mid-descent. She held it at arm's length, examining it while it writhed and snapped and secreted enough venom to kill a Vorgelian in 3 seconds. See? Pretty slow, actually. She rotated it, entirely unconcerned by its struggles. And their armor plating has this weak point right, she demonstrated with her pen. The predator went limp. There, super obvious design flaw. She dropped the corpse and went back to her tablet. Talana was pulling up Earth's biosphere data with trembling manipulators, seeing it now with new understanding. Commander, look at this. Earth, 1.0 G gravity, oxygen-rich atmosphere, temperature variance of 80 degrees, predator diversity index of 8.7 million species. That can't be right, Dirac said. It's right. It's all right. And look at the predator classifications. Talana's voice was hollow. Persistence hunters that track prey for days, pack hunters with complex communication, ambush predators with instant kill capabilities, aerial predators, aquatic predators, venomous predators, and humans evolved competing with all of them. They didn't dominate through armor or venom or camouflage, they dominated through adaptation. On the feed, Emma had pulled out a small bag of something and was eating while reading. 6 predators, the last of the escaped specimens, were converging on her position from multiple vectors. Cadet Johnson, Zilak said urgently, you have incoming... Emma looked up, noticed the predators approaching. Oh, hey guys, she held out her snack bag. You hungry? Is that the problem? You seem kinda hangry. The predators struck as one coordinated unit, the kind of assault that had destroyed the Vorgelian honor guard, the kind of military precision that shouldn't be possible for non-sapient creatures. Emma moved like water, like wind, like something that didn't need to follow the same physical laws as everything else in the galaxy. She used her textbook like a shield, her tablet as a bludgeon, her pen as a precision instrument. One predator got dispatched with her shoe. She kicked it off mid-dodge, and somehow that improvised projectile hit with enough force to crack chitin. 12 seconds. 6 dead predators. Emma retrieved her shoe, slipped it back on, returned to eating her snacks. What were we talking about? She asked Command. Oh, right. Is Professor Kairesh okay? Because I really need to ask him about mitochondria. Talana sat down, her legs suddenly unable to support her weight. We brought a Deathworld apex predator into a standard residential station, she said numbly. We gave her a dorm room and homework assignments and wondered why she survived other apex predators. Vexia was running calculations, her display covered in increasingly impossible numbers. Sir, if this is baseline human capability, if she's not augmented, not specially trained, what happens when humans who are trained encounter threats? No one answered. They were all watching Emma, who had finally noticed all the corpses around her. Oh man, she said, looking genuinely concerned. Maintenance is going to be so annoyed with me. Fleet Admiral Dirax's full holographic presence materialized in the command center, not just a head and shoulders projection, but his complete form, which protocol reserved for war declarations and extinction events. He watched the compiled footage in silence. Every kill, every casual movement, every moment of Emma treating galactic apex predators like minor inconveniences between homework problems. Analysis, he finally said, his voice carrying the weight of 400 years of military command. Is she Special Forces, Black Ops, some kind of human super soldier program? Sir, Talana pulled up Emma's complete file. She's a literature major. Her entrance exam essay was about It says here, why poetry matters in a technological age. She scored in the 32nd percentile for physical aptitude. She's never had combat training. According to her medical files, she sprained her ankle last semester playing recreational volleyball. Dirax watched Emma kill 3 predators while holding her tablet in one hand, not even setting it down. That's not combat training, he said quietly. That's not even combat instinct. That's a human operating at relaxed civilian capacity. Pull Earth's complete classification file, Zilax ordered. Not the summary, everything. The data cascaded across every display in the command center. Vexia read it aloud, her voice increasingly strained. Earth, Class 12 Deathworld, same classification as Crix 9, gravity, 1.0 G, predator diversity, 8.7 million documented species. Includes persistence hunters, pursuit predation over extended time periods, sometimes lasting days, pack hunters, complex social structures and coordinated tactical assault, ambush predators, instantaneous kill strikes from concealment, aerial predators, attack from 3-dimensional space, aquatic predators, her voice broke. Sir, humans evolved on a planet where everything was trying to kill them. Not just trying, Talana corrected, pulling up evolutionary biology data. Succeeding. Human evolutionary history shows repeated near-extinction events. They survived not through physical advantages but through adaptation, tool use, pattern recognition, threat assessment. They learned to outthink predators because they couldn't outfight them. Except now they can outfight them, Dirax said, watching Emma yawn and stretch, completely unconcerned by the carnage surrounding her. We took them off a high-diversity Deathworld and put them in a low-threat environment. We didn't make them weaker. We made everything else slower. Emma's voice came through the comm. So, can I go back to studying? I have a test tomorrow on Varelian poetry analysis, and I'm really not getting the metaphorical structure of the third harmonics period. Zilax felt something fundamental shift in his understanding of reality. She doesn't know, he said. She doesn't perceive herself as dangerous. Why would she? Talana was scrolling through Earth's predator database, her chromatic patches cycling through colors of academic horror. On Earth, she's not an apex predator. She's prey that learned to survive. Humans don't think of themselves as dangerous because on their homeworld, they're not. They're the species that survived by being clever enough to avoid the actual dangers. On the security feed, Emma was examining the predator corpses with what appeared to be mild concern. Hey, Command. Should I, clean this up before maintenance gets here? I feel bad making extra work for people. Cadet Johnson, Zilax said carefully. Those organisms require specialized containment teams with military-grade equipment for disposal. Oh, Emma paused. Then she picked up a 700-kilogram predator corpse with one hand, and carried it to a disposal chute like she was taking out recycling. Is this okay, or should I just leave them? Vexia made a sound like escaping atmosphere. She just casually. Someone in the command center was hyperventilating. Drax leaned forward. Cadet Johnson, I need to ask you a question. Are all humans like you? Emma's confused face appeared on the primary display. Like what? I'm just a literature major. I'm not even athletic or anything. She laughed. My roommate Sarah plays rugby. She's the athletic one. Can do 50 pull-ups without stopping. It's crazy. 50 pull-ups, Vexia whispered. And my little brother back home is training for something called ultra-marathons, Emma continued cheerfully. He runs for 100 miles at a time. For fun. Meanwhile, I can barely jog 3 miles without getting winded. Talana was pulling up human athletic records. Her chromatic patches had gone completely white, the color of system shock. Commander, this is below average for human physical capability. We didn't capture an exceptional specimen. We captured a baseline academic who self-identifies as unathletic. The implications crash through the command center like a physical wave. We need new protocols, Dirac said, his command voice reasserting itself. Immediately, Zilax, you'll report to the Galactic Council that the Crix-9 breach has been contained. By a freshman with school supplies, Zilax said faintly. They're going to ask how. Tell them the truth, all of it. Dirax's hologram straightened. And recommend immediate reclassification of humans from species of concern to station security asset. If one unarmed, untrained human civilian can neutralize a Class 12 extinction event, we need them on our side. Sir, Vexia interrupted. The human is sending a message, text only. It says, can someone please tell me what I missed in biochem class? Also, my pen broke during the thing, and it was my favorite pen. Do you know where I can get a new one? Preferably blue ink. The command center fell silent. Her pen broke, Zilax repeated. She killed 23 extinction event organisms. She ended a threat that has toppled civilizations. She did it with a pen, and she's upset the pen broke. Because that's what she had available, Talana said, understanding dawning. She didn't plan this. She didn't prepare. She used whatever was in her hand because to her, those predators were just minor obstacles between her and homework completion. Dirax's hologram flickered with what might have been the equivalent of a tired smile. Get her a new pen, blue ink, and someone find out what she missed in biochemistry. If we're going to coexist with humans, we should probably start by not making them fail their classes. Should we debrief her? Vexia asked. Explain what she just survived? On the screen, Emma had returned to her tablet, sitting on a bench surrounded by the corpses of the galaxy's most feared predators, completely absorbed in understanding cellular respiration. No, Zilax said softly. Let her study. Let her take her test. Let her be normal. He looked at Dirac, because apparently, for humans, this is normal. The Emergency Galactic Council session convened within 2 hours, a record response time that indicated just how thoroughly the Crix-9 incident had shattered comfortable assumptions about galactic security. Zilax stood before representatives from 47 species, all of whom had watched the compiled footage at least twice. Most looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. To summarize, Zilax began, his voice steady despite the career-ending nature of what he was about to say. Humans are accidentally militarized by the simple act of existing. Their civilian baseline capabilities exceed our military-grade response protocols. Cadet Emma Johnson neutralized 23 Class 12 apex predators using improvised tools while maintaining focus on academic coursework. Council Representative Tharix of Vorgelion, whose species had lost their entire honor guard to just 5 Crix-9 predators, raised a trembling manipulator. What you're describing is impossible. Our best warriors, trained from birth. Trained for Vorgelion gravity, Talana interrupted, her academic authority overriding diplomatic protocol. Trained against Vorgelion predators. Humans trained on a Class 12 Deathworld with 8.7 million predator species. Their normal is our extinction event. Recommendations? Council Chair Ziara asked, her voice tight. Immediate reclassification of Earth from developing world to protected Deathworld species, Zilax read from his prepared statement. Revision of all human housing protocols. They need reinforced structures, not for their protection, but to prevent them from accidentally damaging standard facilities. Assignment of human cadets to security response positions, and, he paused, under no circumstances should Crix-9 specimens be stored within 50 sectors of human civilians. Agreed, Ziara said immediately. 47 council members voted in unanimous approval. Another record. Vexia stepped forward, her antenna stalks quivering. One additional note, the human has requested her biochemistry test be postponed. She described today's events as mildly inconvenient to her study schedule. The council chamber fell silent. Mildly inconvenient, Tharix repeated. She considers a Class 5 extinction event mildly inconvenient. To be fair, Talana added, she still doesn't understand what Crix-9 predators are. To her, they were just Weird animals that got loose. Emma finally got the predator blood off her tablet screen using the edge of her shirt and some water from a drinking fountain. She pulled out her comm device and messaged her roommate back on Earth. Emma, weird day. Some animals got loose in the station, totally killed my study vibe. How's the internship going? Sarah, OMG, so boring. Just filing and administrative stuff. You're so lucky you get actual excitement up there. Emma laughed, shaking her head. Through the dormitory windows, she could see massive military response teams in full hazmat suits, accompanied by mechanized armor units, carefully securing Sector 7. They moved with the extreme caution of people handling live antimatter. She'd cleaned up that area 20 minutes ago by herself. Guess they're really thorough about animal control here, she muttered, returning to her Varelian poetry homework. The metaphorical structure still wasn't making sense, but at least it was quiet now. In Fleet Command's secure briefing room, Durax convened his senior staff for what he'd labeled Existential Threat Assessment, Human Integration. Let's address the core question, he began. Humans perceive galactic apex predators as annoying. What does this mean for warfare? For diplomacy? For basic coexistence? Talana projected her research findings. I've been reviewing human cultural databases. They have over 300 combat sports practiced recreationally. Activities they do for entertainment are more dangerous than our military training protocols. They have something called ultimate fighting, where they just hit each other until someone can't continue, and people pay to watch this. They're a warrior species, someone suggested. No, Talana corrected. They're a survival species. There's a difference. Warriors train for combat. Humans train for Tuesday. Durax nodded slowly. Recommendation. Humanity becomes a protected, dangerous species. We welcome them into galactic society, but we monitor their integration carefully. Not because we fear them. We absolutely fear them, Vexia interjected, but because we need to ensure mutual safety. Theirs and ours. The vote passed unanimously. Zilax filed his final incident report, which would become required reading at every military academy in Council space. Human civilian neutralized Class 5 extinction event, using office supplies while pursuing arts degree. Incident demonstrates fundamental misunderstanding of human baseline capabilities. Recommend complete revision of threat assessment protocols. The Galactic Military Academy implemented sweeping changes within 48 hours. New human integration protocols mandated danger awareness training, not teaching humans to recognize threats, but teaching them what other species considered threatening. Human cadets received priority assignments to security response positions. And perhaps most importantly, humans had to be explicitly informed when situations were meant to be dangerous. Emma became an accidental celebrity. Cadets from 70 species wanted holographs with her. She found the whole thing bewildering. I just want to pass Varelian poetry analysis, she told Zilax during her required post-incident interview. Can everyone please just calm down? Of course, Cadet Johnson, Zilax said, his voice carefully neutral. Take all the time you need. Emma finally finished her biochemistry homework around midnight station time. She messaged Professor Kairesh. Hi, sorry, but I might need a small extension on tomorrow's test. The station had some animal control issues in my sector, and I got a little behind on studying. Professor Kairesh, who had watched the security feeds 17 times, each viewing more traumatizing than the last, responded immediately. Extension granted. Take all time needed. Take a week. Take 2 weeks. Are you injured? Do you need medical attention? Emma stared at her comm, confused. No, why would I be? She looked down at her pen, her favorite blue pen, the one that had finally broken after the 23rd Predator. Damn, that was my good pen. The station store was still open, catering to the round-the-clock schedule of a military academy. Emma walked there casually, stepping over maintenance crews in full hazmat suits, using military-grade containment equipment to clean up Predator remains. Just doing some late-night cleaning? She asked one crew member cheerfully. The crew member stared at her with all 6 eyes, unable to form words. The store clerk, a nervous Rillian named Kickstar, trembled violently as he handed Emma a new pen. Standard Academy supply, rated for hull punctures in emergency situations. Cost, 3 credits. Thanks, Emma said brightly, paying with her student account. She added a 5-credit tip because the clerk looked like he was having a really rough day. Zilax watched Emma leave the store through security feeds, the new pen held loosely in her hand like the casual weapon it had just become. Vexia approached, her antenna stalks finally returning to normal position after hours of stress. Sir, should we warn her that pen is rated for hull puncture applications? Zilax watched Emma pause to hold a door open for a group of younger cadets, smiling and making some joke that made them laugh nervously. I don't think it matters what we give them, he said quietly. They make everything a weapon. That's not a flaw in their nature. It's the reason they survived. In the distance, Emma's voice carried over the station's communication channels. She was calling home, the audio accidentally routing through the command frequency. Hey, Mom. Yeah, classes are going great. Made some friends. Station's really quiet, actually. Nothing exciting happening. How's everyone back home? Dad's still trying to fix the lawnmower himself? Zilax and Vexia shared a look. The human thought today was quiet. Issue updated protocols, Zilax said, and pray to whatever deities listen that humans continue to think of us as friends. Sir? Because if one literature major with a pen can do this. Zilax gestured at the feeds showing the aftermath of Emma's mild inconvenience. I don't want to imagine what an angry human could do. Emma's laughter echoed through the comm channels, genuine and warm, completely unaware that she'd just redefined galactic threat assessment forever. She had a poetry test to study for, after all. That was what really mattered.